Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, I'm going to go through with you the solutions for week 5, part 1, Java operators, where in this specific lab, we have learned about the 4 main types of operators. We have arithmetic, assignment, comparison, and also logical operator. We also look into how to evaluate the Java expressions. In this lab, we have a total of 5 questions. So let's get started. Question 1 here is not only related to operators. If you look into these questions, we have some elements that involve variables and data types, which we have learned in the earlier week. Right. Question 1 here, write a program that converts a Fahrenheit degree to Celsius. You can see here, you can click on the link here for the conversions formula. Please display the result in 2 decimal points. So first, I will need to create 2 variables. As you can see from the comments here, I've given you the name of the variables. First is temperature Fahrenheit and second is temperature Celsius. Because we know that these 2 variables involve numbers with decimal points, so we can go for either double or float. That's fine. So in this case, I'll go for double. Now, for temperature Fahrenheit, we'll just give a number here, assign a value. So for example, 100, okay? And for temperature Celsius, I do not need to assign any value because that's what I need to calculate, right? I would need to know, given a specific Fahrenheit, what will be the Celsius. If you click on this link here, then you will see an example here. For example, here, I do 100, so I know that 100 Fahrenheit is equal to 37.8 degrees Celsius. Okay, that's what we want to do in question 1. Now let's look into the formula. The formula given is, given a Fahrenheit, how can I convert into Celsius degree will be, you need to subtract 32 and multiply by 0.5556, which is 5 over 9. I've already put a formula here in place. Now what I need to do is I just need to convert this into Java code, and of course these involve the use of arithmetic operators. So I would do temperature Celsius is equal to, given the Fahrenheit, so this is my Fahrenheit, so I need to use the variable. Some of you might use the value, but that's not the purpose of this assignment because we have already created the variables and we assign value to the variables, right? So we will need to use the variables in this case so that later on you will see how you can integrate with scanner class so that your formula can work based on the user input. So here, temperature Fahrenheit, we need to minus 32, subtract 32, and multiply by 5 over 9, okay? So here, put brackets. Here, I put 5 over 9, okay, which is 5 divided by 9. Let's look into the result here. You'll be surprised the result is actually wrong, and I will explain to you why. So I want to print Celsius, right? The formula seems correct. Temperature Fahrenheit minus 32 multiply 5 over 9. Let's run this. Okay, you'll get 0.0. So what's the problem here? The problem here is that when I put the brackets here, 5 divided by 9, and both 5 and 9 are actually integers, right? So we know that whenever we divide an integer with another integer, we'll get integer. Right. So 5 divided by 9, the answer should be 0.5556. Okay. So 0.5556 are numbers with decimal points, and when it converted into integer, then I left with 0. That's why you can see the answer here 0, because anything multiplied by 0 will be equal to 0. So how can I fix this? Will be, I just need to remove the brackets because it does not affect how the calculations work, right? I will do the multiplications first and then I'll do a divide and I will get exactly the same result. But now because my temperature Fahrenheit is in double, so I will get a result in the form of double, right? Now let's run it. You will see 37.77, which is correct here, right? We have tested earlier 37.8. Another requirements of these questions is we need to display the result in 2 decimal points. So remember, this is what we have learned last week as well. We need to use a string specifier or format specifier here. So string format, %.2f, okay, with a comma here, and I need to close with a brackets. Okay, so if you notice here, string.format, specify 2 decimal points and then temperature Celsius. Let's run this. So I get to 7.78. That will be the first questions. Now let's move on to question 2. Write appropriate arithmetic expressions for each of the following, right? I've give you an example. For example, if the formula given is A equal to BC, so in Java arithmetic expressions, that will be equal to A equal to B multiply C, because we know that BC here is B multiply C, okay? All the variables have been declared for you except G, right? Here we do not have G. A, B, C, D, E, F. No, we don't have G. So we need to declare variable G here, equal to. The formula given is AB bracket C plus D divided. We know this is divided here. E minus F. Okay, so AB here is obvious. We know AB is A multiply B. Okay, open the brackets C plus D. Okay, and then divide, okay? Because here, this is divisions, E minus F. So E minus F here, we will need to have the brackets. Else it will do the minus, then it will do the divisions first, then only minus. But what we want is we want to do the minus first. We want to have E minus F first, then only we do the division, right? Looks correct, but in fact it's not accurate. I can do system.out.print line G. As usual, if you run this, you'll get an error. Okay, what's the problem is because here, if you notice, right, A multiply B and bracket C plus D. So what is in between here? What should we be in between here? It should be a multiplications, right? Because, well, if you do mathematics, you should know. For example, if I do B bracket C, that is equal to B multiply C. So the same concept here is A multiply B multiply C plus D. So if you want, you can put the brackets here, okay, to indicate that that will be the first part of the formula, and then E minus F will be the second part. If I run this, I should get the answer here, 64. Okay. Now 2.2. 2.2 is kind of similar to 2.1. You need to convert that into Java arithmetic expressions. The only difference here is you need to declare the variables, which means you can assign any values that you like to that variables. We know that here we have G M X Y, okay, because G is equal to 1 divided M, x to the power of 6 plus y. So we need to have 4 variables here. Double G, double M, let's say M is equal to 1, double X, X is equal to 2. So you can put any value that you like, just for the sake of example in this case, right? 3. So here I will do double G, or can put G, right? One thing to notice here is you do not need to initialize this one, or you do not need to declare this double G. Okay, what you can do is you put that double G within the formula. So you can do something like this. Double G is equal to 1. Okay, we know that that's divide M. Okay, M multiply, okay, x to the power of 6, that will be, you need to multiply x for 6 times, right? X multiply x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 already, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. plus y. Okay, plus y. Okay, let's do a system.out.print line to check on the answer here. Okay, looks good. Okay, so I got 67. Okay, but you will notice here, what I do is I purposely do multiply x for 6 times. And you might be wondering, for example, what if I need to do x to the power of 10, x to the power of 100? Is that the right way to do it? Well, the answer is no, because we have a function in Java which allow us to calculate power, right? So that will be math.power here, okay? I do not recommend you to use it at this stage because we want to learn about arithmetic, right? We want to learn about the arithmetic operator. But later on, as you progress, you can actually use math.power. I'm going to show you an example here. Let's create different variables each. Okay, I'm going to copy this formula here, but I'm just going to change this to math.power x and 6. Okay, so you can see here that's the straightforward way to do it to the power. I'm going to print the result here, which is h. Okay, so instead of having x for 6 times multiplied for 6 times, I just use a function here, math.pow, which stands for power, and x is my base here. Okay, my base, and 6 will be my exponent, right? So let's see whether we get the same result. Okay, so we get exactly the same result. Okay, so both ways are acceptable, and of course the most efficient way will be to use math.power. But again, we didn't go through this yet, and we haven't learned about the methods yet, so this one is totally acceptable. Now, question 3, write a Java program that starts by declaring a variable named mouse. So, well, we go through the question first, then only we start to work on the code. Choose the appropriate data type for this variable and initialize it with a value. Okay, then write code to convert this value into kilometers, km, and display the result. Use the following formula for the conversions of mile to kilometer. So we know 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometer. We will need to turn all this into Java codes. So whenever you get questions, go through it line by line. Okay, so the question here is write Java programs. Okay, that's fine. Choose the appropriate data type. Now you need to think about what will be the appropriate data type for miles. So can it be in the form of numbers with decimal points? Yes, right? So here you can either go for float or doubles. Remember the differences between float and doubles. I've explained that in the previous video. So I'll go for double in this case. The name of the variable, specifically it says I need to have the name as miles, right? So I need to follow it. And then he say initialize it with a value. So we need to give a value to this variable. I will do 2 in this case. Okay. So that will be how we initialize variables with a data type, appropriate one, which is double in this case, and then assign a value. Now we need to write a formula just like what we did for question 1. So we will say here, kilometer, right? Double kilometer will be equal to, okay. So we know that 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. So kilometers here, the formula will be miles, my variables here, multiply 1.6. Okay, so that will be your formula here. 1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. So when I turn that into formula, will be kilometers will be equal to miles multiply 1.6. Simple mathematics here. I'll just remove these code comments. I will just do system.out.println kilometers, right? We need to print kilometers. Okay, close it with a semicolon. Let's run this. Okay, right. So that's the correct answer. I know 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers. So of course, 2 mile will be 1.6 multiplied 2. In that case, will be 3.2. Okay, question 4. Okay, it says here below is a piece of Java code intended to compare. Okay, the keywords here is to compare the variables x and y. Review the code to determine if it is written correctly and provide justifications for your answer. Okay, so this code is to compare x and y, which means I want to know whether x and y are the same or different. Okay, it says review the code, so we can see here integer x is equal to 2. That's fine. Integer y is equal to 2. I want to compare whether x and y are the same or different. Of course, we know is these two variables are the same. Now, if I run this, I get 2. Okay, I get 2. This is not an expected answer, right? Because if I'm compare two variables, and if these two variables are true, I will get true. If it's not, then I will get false. Okay, but why I get 2 here? The problem is with the equal sign. Okay, remember the difference between the equal sign here, okay, which we call this as the assignment operator. Okay. As for the double equal sign, that is the comparison operator. Okay, because here we want to compare two different variables, so we need to use the two equal sign. Okay, so if I run this, I will get true. Okay, of course, if I change my y to 3, I will get false. Okay, so remember, even a simple difference here, a very tiny difference here, you'll get different result because one equal sign and two equal signs basically present different things. Again, one or single equal operator, that will be assignment. You assign values to variables like what we have seen all this while, right? For example, in this case, I assign 2 to the variable x. But if I want to compare two different variables, I will need to use two equal signs, right? So question 5. Oh, we have 6 questions in this lab, to be honest. Okay. So question 5, what is the output of the Java code below? Please explain your reasoning behind determining this output. Okay. So of course you can run this and then you can straight away get the result. But remember, in the final exam later on, you will need to do it yourself. You can run it using Google Colabs or any IDE. So you need to understand the logic here. Okay. So we will go through the logics before we run the codes to check on the answer. Okay. So here we know that x greater than 3, I will add a code cell here, and then I will break it down bit by bit. So x greater than 3, I need to put it as command so that later on it won't affect. X greater than 3, my x is 2, right? So 2 greater than 3, that will be false, okay, because 2 is not greater than 3, obviously. And then I have x less than 1. Okay, x is 2. 2 is less than 1. Okay, that is false as well. Okay, right. Now here, this is false. False or, okay, if you still remember, this is the logical operator, logical or operator, or, and x is less than 1. This is false. False or false. So this expression here will return false, right? Okay. Now we have another operator at the beginning of this, which is not. Okay. So obviously this will become because there's a not operator here that will become not false, and we will end up with true. Okay, so the answer is true, right? Now let's run and verify this. Yeah, you'll get true. Okay, so that's how you solve this kind of questions. You're going to go through it bit by bit. Question 6, this is the questions that I've went through in another video specifically on how to use the modulus operator. I'm going to rewrite this here. Suppose today is Saturday, you're going to meet your friends in 10 days time, write programs to determine what day of the week will be. So I'm just going to rewrite this. If you want to look into the solutions or the lengthy explanations about this, you will need to go through another video, which I'm going to add the link at the bottom of this video, right? So here I'm just gonna straight away write out the coding. Okay, so here I have integer today. Okay. Today is Saturday. I know there's 6. Okay, integers days will be 10. Okay, how many days? I just simplify the what we call that, the variables here. Okay, integers days, day to meet. Okay, right. So if you still remember, or if you have went through the videos that I've shared with you, then you know the formula will be today plus days modulus 7. Okay, and we add kind of like conditional statements here to cater Sunday, because we want to have equal to 0. So if day to meet is equal to 0, okay, so day to meet will be 7. Okay, we want to represent Sunday with number 7. Okay, so I'm going to print it out. Just going to print the number in this case. So day to meet. Okay, right. So I'm going to run this. So yeah, that's the correct answer too, right? If today is Saturday, which I represent it with 6, what will be the day if you are going to meet your friends in 10 days? So 6 plus 10 modulus 7, that will be 2. Okay, so again, if you want to know more about these questions, you will need to go through another video which I have prepared for you guys. So I think that's it for week 5, part 1 Java operators. And I hope this is helpful. Thank you very much.